Nobody believed in us. Nobody. We were the punchline, the meme club, the laughingstock of Twitter, TikTok, and whatever app the kids are using now. Chelsea has no direction, they said. Palmer? He was a City reject. Maresca? Who's that? The jokes wrote themselves. And yet, here we are. On July 13th, 2025, under the lights of MetLife Stadium in New York City, Chelsea Football Club destroyed the reigning kings of Europe, Paris Saint-Germain, in the final of the FIFA Club World Cup. Final score, 3-0. And at the heart of it all was that man, Cole Palmer, who didn't just play a good game, he orchestrated a massacre. From the first whistle, it was clear Chelsea hadn't come just to show up. We came to win, to dominate, to rewrite the story. Enzo Maresca set the tone with a high press that suffocated PSG like a boa constrictor. Joao, Pedro, and Palmer roamed like wolves between lines, and PSG, so often the dominant, flashy, Qatar-funded juggernaut, looked rattled. By us, Chelsea, the club the world had written off. And Palmer? Oh, Palmer came with blood in his eyes and the calm of a saint. In the 9th minute, it nearly happened. A sweeping team move, a brilliant Joao Pedro backheel, and Palmer let fly from just outside the box. The ball whistled past Donnarumma, brushing the post. Half the stadium screamed goal. Even the cameras were fooled. Donnarumma, frozen. Statue mode. First warning shot. The boy wasn't messing around. PSG tried to respond. They found a few cracks, and Du had 2 golden chances, one wasted by indecision, the other smothered by Robert Sanchez, who suddenly remembered he was the best shot stopper in the multiverse. The pressure from Paris grew. The ball started sticking to their boots. And then, bang. Chelsea struck first. Minute 26. Counter-attack. Malo gusto bombs down the right, swings it low into the box, and there's Palmer. He doesn't panic, doesn't even flinch. Opens up that magical left foot and tucks it. Far post. Kiss it in. Donnarumma flailing again. 1-0 Chelsea. A goal as beautiful as it was cold-blooded. And still, no one believed. 7 minutes later, Palmer made sure they had to. Minute 34. Another transition. Joao Pedro again with the link-up. Palmer picks it up and goes. Skips past one. Fakes out 2 more. Shifts his hips and sends Donnarumma the wrong way. Bottom corner. 2-0. And the world started realizing, this isn't luck. This is domination. I was screaming in my living room. Neighbors probably thought I'd won the lottery. And in a way, I had. We all had. The Chelsea fans who had been ridiculed, who stuck around through the mud, through the memes, through Potterball and Lamps 2.0, through all the £1 billion spent for what? Mockery. And now, this, a night of blue perfection. And it wasn't over. Minute 41. Another PSG mistake. Another lightning bolt of a counter. Palmer glides through midfield like he's in a Guy Ritchie film. Sees Joao Pedro making the run. Perfect pass. Perfectly timed. Joao lifts it over Donnarumma like he's scooping gelato. 3-0. Game. Set. Match. Chelsea weren't just beating the champions of Europe. We were schooling them. Cole Palmer had a first half for the ages. 2 goals. 1 assist. Countless defenders in therapy. He played like he had the cheat codes. It wasn't just technical brilliance. It was psychological warfare. He was in their heads. PSG looked broken. Mbappé? Invisible. Kvaratskhelia? Nowhere. Luis Enrique? Arms crossed. Desperate. And I sat there, stunned. This wasn't the Chelsea we'd known for the past few seasons. This was something else. This was order from chaos. A new identity. A team. In the second half, PSG tried. I'll give them that. Dembélé nearly scored in the 50th, but Sanchez said no. Again. Vitinha had a rocket 10 minutes later. Another save. Our keeper was playing like his life depended on it. But the goals? They only came from us. Liam Delap came on in the 66th minute and nearly made it 4 with his first touch. A thunderbolt to the top corner, and Donnarumma actually flew this time. Saved PSG's dignity. Barely. Delap had another golden chance in a one-on-one. Missed it, but the point was made. And then, PSG lost their heads. Minute 85. Joao Neves, in a moment of absolute madness, pulled Mark Cucurella's hair. What is this? WWE? Red card. Good night. And that was it. Chelsea, the banter club, the punchline, the team with 78 right-backs and 14 goalkeepers, had won the first-ever expanded FIFA Club World Cup in the United States, beating Esperance de Tunis, LA Galaxy, Benfica, Palmeiras, Fluminense, and finally PSG. What a run. What a team. Let me remind you, nobody trusted us. Nobody. We were a laughingstock. And now we're world champions. And Cole Palmer, he didn't just have a good night. He had his night. The night he became a club icon. He was a calm in the chaos. The maestro in midfield. The leader we didn't know we needed. 2 goals, 1 assist, and about 5 defenders retired. And is just 23. You want to talk about investments? PSG dropped 70 million euros on Kvaratskhelia like they were buying gum. Meanwhile, we bought Palmer from City for £45 million, a squad filler, they said. He's now the MVP of the Club World Cup final, a global superstar. So yes, Chelsea spends. We buy players like cereal. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But last night, every gamble paid off. Joao Pedro scored and assisted. Gusto, rock solid. Enzo and Caicedo dominated midfield. And Palmer was everything. This Chelsea isn't just a flash in the pan. It's a statement. We're here. We're back. And nobody believed in us, which makes it even sweeter. To the doubters, thank you. You gave us fuel. You gave Palmer something to prove. And he delivered. Chelsea Football Club, World Champions 2025. Say it again. World Champions. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody believed in us. But here we are, the best team in the world. And it's only just beginning. World Champions. Let that sink in. Let the words roll off your tongue. Let them marinate in your soul. Chelsea Football Club, the best team on the planet. And right in the center of that blue hurricane stood Cole Jermaine Palmer, the man who tore through Paris like a Category 5 storm. The man who grabbed the ball, grabbed the final, and said, "This is mine." What he did to PSG last night wasn't just a performance. It was humiliation. Pure, unfiltered, tactical, and technical embarrassment for a club built to dominate. They brought their full artillery, the Champions League winners, the oil money machine, the so-called invincibles. They strutted into New York thinking they'd walk out with another trophy for the collection. But Cole Palmer had other plans. They call it the city that never sleeps. But I swear, for those 90 minutes at MetLife, PSG looked like they were in a coma. Cole Palmer put them into deep, anesthetic football paralysis. He didn't just outplay them. He unmade them. Let's talk about the goals again, shall we? That first finish. Ice cold. It was the kind of strike that only comes from a player who's completely locked in. He didn't hit it with power. He didn't need to. He used placement. Precision. The kind of shot that says, I don't need to blast it. I'm better than that. Donnarumma stretched. Guess Dove did everything right. Still didn't matter. The ball kissed the inside of the post like it was meant to live there. Palmer had opened the floodgates. And what about the second? My God, the second. It was like watching a painter on a blank canvas, except the canvas was PSG's defense and the paintbrush was his left foot. Joao Pedro gave him the ball, and from the moment it touched his boot, the outcome was inevitable. He weaved through defenders as if they were holograms. There was a drag back, a step over, a feint so slick Hakimi actually stumbled trying to recover. Then that same side-footed finish. Same corner, same calmness. It was surgical, clinical, and at that point, the game should have been stopped for the safety of the audience. Palmer wasn't just scoring, he was orchestrating chaos. Every time he got the ball, PSG's backline looked like a stack of IKEA furniture halfway through assembly. Screws missing, legs wobbly, instructions in Swedish. Marquinhos, twisting and turning like he'd been dropped into a washing machine. Danilo Pereira, moving in slow motion, stuck in Cole's orbit. Hakimi, spinning like a Beyblade, and yet Cole never even looked rushed. That's the magic of him. He plays like he has a remote control for the pitch. The whole tempo bends around him. He doesn't run frantically. He glides. He doesn't panic. He waits. He doesn't force it. He feels it. Every touch is purpose. Every pass is laced with intention. He plays like the ball was born attached to his foot. Let's not forget the assist. That third goal, that was just plain rude. He baited 3 defenders with his eyes, sold them the dummy, slipped a no-look pass between the tiniest of windows for Joao Pedro, who chipped it over Donnarumma like a soft scoop of gelato in summer. It was a move straight out of a video game. But this wasn't PlayStation. This was a final, and Palmer was toying with them. At one point in the second half, I swear I saw Luis Enrique clapping out of sheer respect. Or maybe it was desperation. Because nothing he did, no tweak, no sub, no tactical readjustment, could contain Palmer. The man was everywhere and nowhere all at once. He'd disappear into midfield, then reappear behind the back line. He'd drop deep to pull strings, then show up at the edge of the box like a ghost. He was unmarkable. Palmer wasn't just doing damage on the scoreboard. He was doing it in their heads. The PSG players started fouling out of frustration. You could see it in the body language, in the shoulders slumping, in the way Vitinha started pointing fingers, in the way Kvaratskhelia began avoiding the ball. Palmer had sucked the soul out of the champions of Europe, and he never even smiled. That's what scared me most. He didn't celebrate like a madman. He didn't pound his chest or shush the crowd. He just nodded, as if to say, of course, as if this were just another day at the office. And maybe it was, because while the world only just started waking up to Cole Palmer, with Chelsea fans, we've watched him grow, week by week, from clever technician to merciless assassin. He's not flashy. He doesn't need to be. He lets his feet do the talking. And last night, they screamed. They screamed louder than any Parisian megastar, louder than any oil-funded dynasty. Palmer was a metronome, the puppeteer, the shadow that haunted PSG's every step. There was a moment in the 72nd minute, no goal, no assist, but it summed up the night. PSG were building slowly from the back, trying to breathe some life into a dying cause. The ball was past Marquinhos, who tried to step forward. But Palmer pressed with such perfect timing, forced him back, and then anticipated the next pass as Emery and intercepted it without breaking stride. Then, without looking, flicked it first time into space for Enzo, who launched another attack. The crowd stood up just for that. A simple play, sure, but it was a masterclass in game intelligence. This is what he does. He dictates not only play, but emotion. PSG couldn't breathe without him deciding it was time. He had them on strings. And not just any strings, tight, violin strings, strung with tension, snapping one by one under the pressure of that pale-faced genius in Chelsea blue. Nobody expected this. Not the press, not the pundits, not the PSG fans who flew across the Atlantic expecting to pop champagne. But Cole Palmer, he expected it. You could see it in the way he demanded the ball, the way he didn't hesitate, the way he looked straight through the noise, the money, the reputation of PSG and said, watch this. It wasn't just a great performance. It was a career-defining night. And the most terrifying thing is just getting started. Cole Palmer dropped 90 minutes of pure football poetry on the world stage. And the ink is still wet. He made world champions look like schoolboys. He made us world champions. Nobody believed in us. But here we are. And he is why. And he is why. Every great final has its hero. Zidane in Glasgow, Iniesta in Johannesburg, Drogba in Munich, and now Palmer in New York. You can talk about tactics, about managers, about systems and shape and pressing lanes. But finals are won by players who look the moment in the eye and refuse to blink. Last night, Cole Palmer didn't blink. He owned it. He grabbed the final by the throat and whispered, "Mine." It wasn't just the goals. It wasn't just the assists. It was how he did it. The touch, the vision, the swagger, not loud, not arrogant, but quietly devastating. That's the word. Devastating. He was a soft breeze that becomes a hurricane. He didn't roar. He whispered, and the whole stadium listened. You couldn't take your eyes off him. Every time the camera panned across the pitch, there he was, gliding, ghosting, orchestrating. wearing that number 20 like it was tailored in royalty. He wasn't just running a match, he was painting it. Every pass was a brushstroke, every feint a splash of color, every drop of the shoulder another note in a symphony that PSG never even got invited to. And the control. There was a moment in the second half, somewhere around the 60th minute, where Palmer received a long diagonal under pressure. Hakimi came flying in, legs everywhere, and Palmer, one touch with the instep, dead kill, ball glued to his foot like he was wearing magnetic boots. He rolled it away from danger and skipped past the Moroccan like he was stepping around a puddle. Calm, unbothered, beautiful. That kind of elegance isn't taught. It's born. It's in the DNA. Palmer doesn't just play football. He understands it on a level most players never reach. He feels where the space is before it opens. He delivers a pass before the run begins. He's 2 steps ahead of the world, and 3 ahead of PSG last night. And yet the most terrifying part of all is that he never looked like he was trying too hard. He played the final like it was a pre-season training match in Cobham. That face, always so calm, almost bored, never changed. Whether he was curling one into the top corner or zipping a ball between 2 centre-backs, it was all the same to him. Routine. Expected. Controlled. PSG were the ones panting, sweating, chasing shadows. Palmer didn't chase. He commanded. He didn't run. He made the pitch move around him. It was like he was playing with cheat codes, except the cheat code was him. They tried everything. Luis Enrique switched the shape twice, dropped Kvaratskhelia deeper, pulled Emery wider, even tried sending Dembélé over to Palmer's side to double up. And Palmer? He just drifted into the half spaces, pulled them apart, and made them follow him into nothingness. He was everywhere and nowhere. Like smoke, like myth. He didn't shout. He didn't gesture wildly. But somehow everyone around him moved to his rhythm. Gallagher played harder. Enzo pressed smarter. Gusto overlapped with more bite. Joao, Pedro moved with more precision. Because Palmer made them believe. Not with words, but with example. And we believed too. The fans. The ones who had been laughed at for 2 years. We believed every time he touched the ball. We sat on the edge of our seats, just knowing that something would happen. Because when Cole Palmer is on the ball, things happen. Defenders tremble. Systems fall apart. The game bends. This wasn't just a performance. It was a warning. To Europe. To the world. To the doubters. To the City fans who shrugged when he left. To the pundits who called him a rotation player. To the keyboard warriors who said Chelsea was finished. To all of them. Watch the tape. Watch the tape of Cole Palmer dismantling the champions of Europe with a smirk and a pair of boots laced with silk. He didn't need 10 shots. He didn't need 90% possession. He just needed moments. 3 touches to score the first. 5 touches to create the second. 2 seconds of vision to assist the third. That's all. That's the difference. Efficiency. Precision. Brilliance. He was a calm in the storm and the storm itself. He was a stillness in the strike, a paradox in boots. And as the match wore on, as the clock ticked down and PSG's heads dropped, Cole didn't stop. He didn't fade. He didn't play safe. He kept pushing, asking for the ball, demanding it, looking for the knockout punch. Because for him, it's never enough. Not just a win, not just the goals. He wants to master it, to make the pitch his canvas, the ball his brush, the opponent his gallery. Last night, he painted a masterpiece, and we were lucky enough to watch it live.